this is Mrs. Carroll, one of the maths teachers at Davenant. I'm taking this opportunity to talk you through and introduce you to the further maths A level. So you might be wondering, is this the right subject for you? Well, you need to have a passion for maths and you need to enjoy working logically, using algebra, solving equations, perhaps enjoy mechanics, because you will be doing a lot of maths in the day. It's very important that you enjoy what you're doing. Entry requirements, you need at least an 8 at GCSE. So if you think you're going to struggle to achieve that, you might be better off just picking the maths A level, as the majority of the class actually do have a grade 9 to cope with some of the complexities of the second year in particular of the A level course. So how is the course structured? Well, fortunately, there's just one further maths class and you're taught completely separately from the other mathematicians. The good thing about that is you've got more one-to-one help with the teachers. There tends to be 2 teachers, myself and the head of maths, Mr. Charhill, and you'll get to know your friends in the class and you'll work closely with them. We really encourage teamwork and working together, setting up a chat group, a WhatsApp group, to help each other with things along the way. More about that later. So how is it assessed? Well, it's a linear course, so there are no exams, formal exams, until the end of the second year of the course, and at the end of year 13 there's 6 exams, each of which are 2 hours long. 3 exams for the A level, maths A level, and 3 exams for the further maths A level. So in year 12, we're just covering the A-level maths syllabus. So because there's 2 lessons a day, we're going twice as fast as the normal mathematicians. So you'll get double the work, double the homework, and we'll get through the whole of the A-level maths within year 12. In fact, we'll be ready to start the further maths course in the spring of year 12. So if you want more detail about the A-level maths, then you need to see the other video for the maths course. But very quickly, these are the 2 pure maths books, and these are some of the topics you'll be covering. And they're the applied books. You'll be covering statistics and mechanics. There's no option. You will need to study our core within the A-level maths syllabus. So statistics covers a lot of overlap with the GCSE. You'll be familiar with lots of the types of representation of data, things like box and whisker diagrams, scatter diagrams, correlation, and looking at finding the mean and variation, and so on. You'll also be studying mechanics, so some overlap with anyone that's studying physics, but you don't have to take physics. We don't assume that you need any prior knowledge. We'll teach you everything from scratch. Some of the things you touched on anyway at GCSE, things like force diagrams, friction, projectiles, motion, and so on. So that's the A-level maths course. So there's 4 textbooks altogether. So around about March time, February, March, in year 12, we'll start the year 13 work and get quite some way through the first core maths book here, this first book here. So here's some of the pure topics. So these are core, so there's no option here. You have to take these core subjects. So we've got complex numbers series over here, for example. This is a polar graph. I'll come back to that later. Lots of this is an integral sign, lots of calculus, and so on. So that's the core. You won't start the further mechanics until year 13. Some schools might be doing things slightly differently because there is an option at this stage, and at Davenant we have a bias towards the mechanics. So in year 13, half of your time is spent on the core pure subject, and half of your time it will be spent learning about the further mechanics. But as I said, other schools might pick other options like statistics, decision maths, or more pure, and so on. But we've chosen to do the mechanics, and that isn't something that we are able to give an option on. So this might be good news for some of you, although it doesn't mean to say, you know, we have plenty of students that are very competent at maths and English and other subjects, but for some it is a selling point. There's no coursework either. As I said, it's just a linear course examined at the end of the 2 years, but you will get maths homework every day. There's 2 lessons a day typically, so you will get 2 pieces of homework. So at GCSE, you're probably used to having 1 or 2 pieces a week. Now you're going to get 1 or 2 pieces a day. So you've got to be organised, you've got to be on top of it, make notes, use your spare time effectively, take breaks, but, you know, make sure you've scheduled your day. And it's really important that you work together. If you're stuck on a question, use your group chat. Anyone got help on this question? Help each other, work together. And remember, help is always available from us at school. We're always along the maths corridor somewhere. You'll find us. Come and get some help, or in the next lesson. So there will be half-term tests, probably at least 2 half-term tests. But the first test you'll have is at the start of Year 12 in September. The whole of the maths cohort, so we're talking about just the A-level mathematicians and the further mathematicians, will all sit the summer task test. So we're testing what you've been doing over the summer, which just bridges that gap between the GCSE and A-level. Basic things like solving quadratic equations, factorising, algebraic fractions, checking you've got those basic skills which are paramount to be successful on the A-level maths course. I will say, if you don't do so well on the summer task test, scoring, you know, less than 60%, something like that, it might be an indication to you that it might not be the right course for you. But that doesn't tend to happen, because anyone getting a grade 8 or 9 tends to score 80–90% on this test anyway, so don't worry about that. So what do you need to do before September? It'd be brilliant if you could be organised and get your stationery up to date. You are going to have to buy your own lever arch folders, flip pads, pucker pads, whatever you call them, preferably ones where you can take the papers out easily, rather than the ones that have a spiral bound that fray the edges, because we collect in the homework. We don't provide exercise books or anything. You'll do it all on A4 size paper. So it needs to be easily removed from your pucker pad, maybe with hole punches already in them, so that when you get home you can file them every day. So you need to keep a neat, tidy filing system. You'll be really surprised just how quickly you're going to build up a large amount of notes. So dividers, subject dividers, you know, cardboard ones, some smaller folders, maybe a small one that fits in your bag, so you can have a daytime folder, and then you can have your lever arch folders at home to transfer your work into from time to time. Highlighters are useful. We often say, okay, this is important, learn this, highlight it, make a note of this, and so on. So talking a bit more about the calculators, there's 2 calculators. Some students buy one or the other, and some buy both. The cheaper of the 2 is the Class Whiz. This is an excellent calculator. It can do so much of the functionality that the graphical calculator does. The main thing that the Class Whiz can't do, however, it cannot draw graphs. That's a useful feature to have. It might give you an extra 2 or 3 marks in an exam. So the graphical calculator, it costs, you know, around about £100. So I just did a Google search on Amazon for these prices today. So the Class Whiz will set you back about £25. So that's a minimum to have that. The graphical calculator about £100. Some students find the Class Whiz is easier to use than the graphical calculator. So some decide to buy both calculators. You can take both into an exam. So the choice is up to you. You could start with just the Class Whiz and see if you want to wait for Christmas and ask for this as a Christmas present or something like that. So if you want, I would definitely recommend, as a minimum, you get the Class Whiz before you start in September, if you haven't got one already. There was one other thing I needed to mention. just going back to that very quickly, or is it this one? I didn't mention the textbooks. We'll provide all the textbooks and the exam booklets, but we do require a £30 deposit at the start of the course, either a post-dated cheque made payable to Davenant Foundation School for £30, post-dated for the 1st of July 20, what year are we in? 2021. So post-dated because we don't intend to cash it, because I'm sure you will return the resources, or you can pay on parent pay. So if you could be up and running with a deposit, then we'll lend you all the textbooks and booklets for the whole year. So that will mean you can get your books a bit quicker if you've remembered to do that. So that's it really from me. I did ask, I emailed the current year 12 students, so the year group above you, how they've found the course so far, what they've liked about it, what they've found challenging. And I've got 3 slides to follow, and I'll give you some time to look through. I think what comes across here is the fact that it's enjoyable. There is quite a lot of homework, but there will be help if you get stuck. And the fact that there's you will make friends and you'll work together with like-minded people. As I said, there's 3 of these slides. So a number of students here have mentioned the pace of the lessons. So we do move at a fast pace. If you are a slow processor and you're slow to work, that can be an issue, but we do our best to accommodate. But you might find pace is a challenge, but that tends to be one of the things that students enjoy the most about it, funnily enough. As you can see here, we've started, in fact, I've done 6 chapters already of the core book. And although it seemed difficult when you're in year 11 thinking about how difficult the work's going to get, by the time you get there, you're ready for it, you will have progressed. Some of the students here talking about the overlap with different subjects. Links in well with the sciences, with computing, but also with business and economics, which isn't mentioned here. So people might want to go into finance as a job, or working in the city, or becoming an engineer. So lots of different things, or you might just be doing it because you want to do a maths A level and you don't know what you want to do as a job in the future. Well, I hope I've answered some of your questions today, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you.